Hi guys, Rob here again. Just wanted to talk a little bit about a session that I did about a week and a half ago. I intended to get this out to you guys a bit earlier, but as usual, life and music gets in the way. So I didn't get around to speaking about it or doing this vid until now. And I spent 3 or 4 days this week in the studio, again, producing music for Nick Allen and his band, The Little Men. So finding the time to do it, plus having a life is difficult. So anyway, what did I do? I went down to Paignton, actually, and I went down this very little, small farm track thinking, where the devil am I going? I had the drop pin you can get on Google Maps, and I took a few wrong turnings here and there because my sat-nav went a bit sort of crazy for a bit, and eventually found this kind of farmhouse which was on my left, and there was a driveway, and there was someone with a baseball cap who I later found was Paul. He was the owner of the property and this great studio. He said, "Rob, you're in the right place, come on in." And that was it. And 2 days just literally flew by where I was down in Paul's studio, and it's called Our Friends Electric, which is a great name, being a Gary Newman fan. When I actually got into the car park, I thought, right, okay, Paul's got a beautiful property. He's got an Airbnb on the property as well. And there's some other outhouses and barns and stuff, and a really funky big house as well, which is his, which is just unbelievable. And it was just like, well, where's the studio? Is it in that one? And it's like, no. Is it in that building? No, it's underneath your feet. And sure enough, Rob Waite, who is the kind of studio chief engineer and studio manager, and an awesome sound guy, front of house, he's out with Kasabian, my good friend Ian Matthews. He's out with those chaps at the moment, and they're over in Korea, I believe, at this present moment in time. So hi guys. And Rob I first met when I was working with Lorena McKinnett back in 2018, 2019 on the Lost Souls World Tour, which was amazing. And he's just an amazing sound guy. And he also introduced me to the James Taylor tune, Line 'Em Up, which is just amazing, with some great drumming from Steve Gadd. We digress. So Rob was there, and another friend of theirs, Dave, who used to play in New Model Army and is now writing kind of his own music and library music and things like that. And the three guys basically got together to write some songs. They're obviously really good friends. They played in bands together. They've obviously got other things in their life that they go and do, but they come together at Paul's studio and work on their own music. As I say, I went downstairs, unbelievable. I'll post some pictures. Anyone on my social media would have seen the pics anyway. It was great. And as I'm waffling away, they're probably coming up for you now. I took my DW collector's kit down with me. I took the 22, 10, 12 rack toms and the 16-inch floor tom. I kind of gave the 14-inch floor tom a day off, and the 13-inch rack tom as well. I gave that the day off, though. Maybe I should have taken them. Who knows, just to change things up. But there is a house DW kit there anyway, which belongs to a friend of theirs, a drummer friend. And, I could have used that, but they wanted me to bring mine because it's mine and blah, 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 blah. I know it well, and so on, tuning and stuff. I took some spare Remo heads. I took my Lisby 400, which is now sat over there. And I took my 14x8 DW collectors, which is, we all know, that's a great snare drum. And again, won those chaps over as well. Every now and again, they say, that snare drum's killer, Rob. I was like, I know, it's amazing. And my 13x5 DW collector was with me as well, which we used quite a bit, actually. We never got to the 400. We didn't really need it. And the songs they were writing were kind of ultra modern, but I always take the 400 with me just in case, because it feels like I should, But I knew the DW snares would completely nail it. And I think it was 5 or 6 songs in the end, and I kind of it was half and half. Half were on the 13x5 and half were on the 14x8 or 7, whatever it is. I should really find out how deep that drum is. I just don't know. And to be honest with you, it sounds so good, I don't really care. So we were working down on these songs, and the ultra modern sort of Dua Lipa type thing. Is that how you say it? Kind of, do I want to say Taylor Swift? Maybe I do, but they're writing these songs to kind of work on, get musicians in to play these great things, and they'll either release them themselves or they'll give them to other people to record and so on. But I love that kind of process because everything is at grassroots level. You're at the very bottom of the foundation of building these amazing songs, and all the tracks just had loops on, obviously drum loops and bass loops. There's a bit of live playing from the guys, and obviously singing as well. Some are male vocals. Paul's a great singer as well. some were female singers. I think it was Dave's daughter actually singing one of them. And as I say, they know so many musicians around the country and around the world, you know. And these days you can remote sessions in from anywhere. So, you know, they'll say, oh, this is so-and-so, and so-and-so is probably going to play on this. And then it's like, blimey. Anyway, so I went down to do that, and it was really, really good. And while I was there, I managed to grab a little interview, which hopefully isn't too cheesy. But I basically, at the end of the session, before I had the sort of 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive home in the dark, obviously it was night, it's about to be dark. But you know what? I love driving home late at night. It's just such a groovy thing. Put podcasts on or some music or nothing. You know, windows open a little bit. You know, the wildlife's out and about. You've got to be careful on the roads that deer don't come out, and badgers and things, you know. That's in the lap of the gods or the aliens, whatever you believe in. But there's something very cool about driving home like that, you know, processing the last 2 days. I love that. Or if it's a gig, just processing the gig or a clinic or whatever. I'm coming home from the drum clinic or masterclass. I like to think all that through anyway. So I managed to put the cam on just before they kicked me out of the studio, and I just asked them a few questions. And I'm going to try and do this a bit more. I know I've said this before, and I was going to do one yesterday with Jay, who I'll talk about another time. A great engineer, local musician, used to play in the band Port Erin. He's now in the Brackish, and Ruben's daughter, I think, he's in that band as well. Well, I know he is. And he also writes his own stuff, and he teaches, blah, blah, blah. And he's a great engineer, and he was working on some Little Man songs with me yesterday. And unfortunately, I didn't grab an interview with him, but I'm going to try and do this a little bit more often. Just whap the camera up, which is what I did with these guys, and said, listen, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Let's just run with it, see what happens, and go from there. Because, you know, I do a lot of rabbiting, like I am now, about studio life and session life. And I just want some of the people that I'm working with to comment about what I do, good or bad, and sounds, and what their thought process is about tracking drums and all that. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to check this on the end. I'm going to say goodbye now. I hope you enjoy the clip. The studio is available for hire, and I'll put a link down below in the description. But anyway, here's the chaps. I haven't got any clips of the songs because obviously that's still work in progress. But you'll see me talking to Paul and Rob, and I'll introduce them so you know which way around that is. And thanks for checking this video. I'm going to get this posted up straight away because it's Friday, and there should be one tonight, and there should have been one Tuesday. But anyway, oh, before I go, actually, thanks as well for a lot of people who are still digging the pad stuff that I do in the morning, and little drum rambles that I post as YouTube shorts and stuff, or on my Instagram, which is when, before people's come in, I just sit and play and record it, and it's like a little diary of ideas and things like that, which I share with you guys. So yeah, some people still don't get it and they don't understand what I'm trying to do, but hey, that's all good. Takes all sorts. So anyway, here's the clip of the boys at Our Friends Electric Studio. Hope you enjoy. Any questions, as usual, put them down in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, share, blah, 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 blah. Enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys soon. So here we are at Our Friends Electric Studio down near Paignton. There's Rob and Paul discussing in the control room. Probably what they're going to have for lunch. No, they're not. They're talking tracks. This is the little vocal booth, and sometimes used for drums too. Here we go. I was tracking a shaker here. In fact, that shaker there a moment ago. So let's go out here. It's the live room. This is where I've been tracking for the last couple of days with my DW Collector's kit. And Rob Waite is the, I met Rob Waite, he was the sound man for Lorena McKinnon on the Lost Souls tour. When I first met him, he was on that, and he's now working with Kasabian. Anyway, he helped design this studio with Paul. Paul is the owner, and it's an amazing place, and it's built underground. And there's Paul's very own arty wall, which I love. Orange is my favourite colour. So yeah, DW Collector's kit. I've been rocking the 13-inch and the 14-inch snare on the sessions, and I've also got over there my Ludwig 400 from 1967, I think. Some spare Remo heads. I moved out my hi-hat stand because it was making a weird noise, a bit of a squeaky sound. So I replaced it very kindly with the Studio Drummers 9000 series hi-hat stand. So that's the setup I've been using for the last couple of songs. Emperor coated on the toms and the Vulcan cymbals. We've got my 14-inch Legend on top, 14-inch Dark Master underneath. I love that combination. 18-inch Antique over there, 8-inch Splash. Then we've got a Vulcan 22-inch Ride with a sizzle on it, turkey sizzler on it. And then an 18-inch Brilliant Effects Crash. And using hot rods on that last track. Got a few moon gels on there and stuff. And I used another seat because my seat was squeaking. So everything seems to be squeaking of mine at the moment, even me probably. Stick bag thrown on the floor there in the heat of battle. Yeah, so amazing few days. You'll be hearing about these tracks in the future, no doubt, when they're released. I'll see what the guys want to do. Hopefully we're coming back to do some more. There's my lovely hard cases, of course, getting me there in style and getting the gear there safely. And a very cool drum mat, which has obviously got the house drummers' markings all over the stands, marking all over the carpet where his stands go and stuff. So use that for today and yesterday, so that's cool. So there we go. Just thought I'd give you a quick look at that, and there we have it. Hi guys, here we are at Our Friends Electric Studio, and I can't think of a better title because you guys know one of my favourite artists is Gary Newman, and yeah, when I come here and I found out the name of this place was Our Friends Electric, it was like, you are kidding me. And I've just realised that my camera is there, so I'll stop looking over there. So boys, if you could look at the green light, that'd be amazing. Okay, so I'm going to turn around and introduce these lovely gentlemen who I've been spending the last 2 days with, tracking some of their amazing songs. So firstly, here we have
Rob Waite, sort of chief engineer, studio manager, etc. Yeah.
and
I'm Paul, so I'm the crazy owner who dug out a load of Devon soil and formed this underground studio, and indebted my future and my grandchildren's future by furnishing it out as this magnificent world-class recording studio, which I'm immensely proud of.
And it is amazing. I turned up and I thought, where is it? And Paul was shouting, here, Rob, it's over here. And I thought, really, where? And then he opened the door, we went underground, and we really are in a bunker underground. But anyway, been here at the studio today and yesterday, as I say, tracking some songs. And one, I wanted you to meet the guys. 2, introduce the studio. Anyone out there in the area or beyond looking for a recording studio, I'll make sure there's some details at the end of this clip so you know where they are and how to contact them. But I just wanted to talk a little bit. I haven't really prompted them on this, so this is going to be interesting. Literally, I'm just about to go home and load the car and go home. So this is all very last minute. But these 2 gentlemen and Dave, who's not here, asked me to play some pretty tricky drum parts, which were, well, shall I ask Rob? Rob, how tricky were these drum parts, and why did you want those specific things? Because I think some of you guys need to know some of this stuff, because I bark on about it in my room or behind a drum kit, you know, on my talkie bits to camera. But here I am actually with some people that in a professional scenario. So
There was a lot of swearing involved. But no, so we sort of quite specific idea, well, not specific ideas to start with, which then, with Rob's inspiration, having put some parts down, we then drilled down into the detail of it, and came up with some parts that sort of tested Rob, fair to say, maybe.
Yes.
And sort of really brought some interesting things to the songs that we're doing, in terms of feel, very subtle little things that bring the thing to life. Yeah, really.
And you know, these are the sort of things that you don't find in books. People who come to my clinics and master classes or come for lessons with me know that I'm always barking on about some of this stuff you can only find out when you're working with people like this, you know, professional musicians, songwriters, engineers, producers, because all these guys write and play as well. They're not just doing one specific job, they can do everything. You know, when they bring you an idea, you think, oh, it's going to be like this. And then they suddenly say, well, that's the obvious idea, which is brilliant, Rob, but how about this? You know, and I'm thinking, oh, I thought that program bit was just a bit of fun. And they're like, no, can we reproduce that on the kit? So there's one, Rob, that I actually had to write it out, didn't I, to play it?
Yeah.
And Rob was in the room saying, it's almost there. So so Rob had those kind of ideas, as did Paul. And I think Paul's role, which pardon the pun, but Paul's role was very interesting because I'll do a take and he'd be stood looking at me through the glass and I could see if he was happy or not. And he certainly didn't mince his words if he wasn't. And he would say something like, sorry. And I said, it doesn't offend me. But Paul,
Yes.
You too made me come up with some really interesting ideas. So when I was doing a take that was, obviously fine and everything, but you were reaching for some other things with the bow strokes and stuff. Could you maybe just talk a little bit of what you were thinking about some of these rhythms and why kind of the obvious pattern wasn't going to be the one for you?
I mean, we didn't really have a clear view of what we wanted on any in specific track. So once you started playing, we heard, what you're doing. Just ideas come up, and for me, it's like you don't want to be throwing too many ideas. Holding it back, not overloading you. Amazing to work with you. Can I say the experience and how receptive, but also capable. And once I got the grip of that, I felt comfortable to put those little details in that just mean a lot when you're songwriting and you're constructing music. Those details, and you took it all on brilliantly. And you just hear these things that you didn't imagine at the beginning of the day would come up. They come up for you. Communicate it. Communication is so important. We did brilliantly. And I think every idea I had, I expressed. So you can't be feel more satisfied than that.
That's brilliant. So, so the guys out there watching and thinking that there's no more work to be done on your bass drum technique and dynamic or dynamic all over the drum set, and or you think you've done enough listening to music, because we were referencing a lot of stuff as well as we were going along. So we're like tracking maybe 4 bars stopping, and I'm saying to the guys, what do you think? They're like, put this extra bounce here. And as a drummer, I'm thinking, a bounce doesn't really go there, but okay, you want it there, so I'll do it. So it was really making me work really hard. And really nice to work with these gentlemen. I've worked with Rob before, and I'm hoping to come back. And Paul is the owner of this fine place, and he's looked after me so well. And they've written some fantastic music. But I really, before I shot home, wanted to just record a little bit of stuff with these guys. 1, so you could meet them. 2, you could know about the studio. And 3, we could talk a little bit about some drummy bits and what these guys are looking for. So when we're playing the drums, we can all be a little bit guilty of just playing the same thing or thinking that's going to do. But really, sometimes behind the glass, they're hearing something different, and they might ask you to do something a little bit tricky. But it was really worth it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and everything. So, thanks to the guys, and thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you next time. Cheers.